So yes guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Movement6 and as a growing habit I first want to start with thanks for all the new subs this week and a big shout out to Giorgio Mendez who subbed this week and had some great feedback and positive notes on my behalf. So thank you very much guys and welcome to the channel, welcome to the community. Um, One apology up front. I may sound a bit nasal, but that's due to the hay fever, so I hope you can live with that during the video. The video today is about the whole discussion that has been emerging since E3 and all the leaks that came out and the rumors and also the confirmation of things about the new consoles coming out. There is a huge amount of information flooding, but also rumors flooding the YouTube, and I've watched a considerable amount of those videos discussing which console is more powerful. Is it a Ps5 or is it the Xbox Scarlett? Or, well, eventually it will take a strange name. We went from Xbox to Xbox 360 and then Xbox One, so I don't know. Xbox Scarlett is what we have to work with right now. And the video today is about the discussion on why this whole topic on what's the most powerful one is one of the most dumbest discussions I've ever seen. So guys, let's get into the video. E3 is over, and we had some discussions with Xbox. Of course, PlayStation wasn't there, and a lot of people are now claiming to have heard rumors, and usually they're based on the fact that somebody knows a guy that has a girlfriend that knows someone who is related to their father, who has a friend that delivers toilet paper to either Microsoft or Sony, and he saw someone crawling in the hall, and he expressed the entire architecture of the PlayStation, and based on that we now have the rumors that the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox is more powerful. Okay, fine. So let's draw a baseline here and let's hump on that train a bit. What we now know for sure is that both systems will run 4K natively. They have no trouble in 60 frames per second across the board. They even can jump to 120 frames per second. No doubt that the architecture is ready to do some upscaling to 8K in the near future, or maybe even jump to a PS5 Pro or an Xbox Scarlett Pro or whatever. Fine. Even the whole notion of load times has been discussed. Now, to make a short sidestep, I don't understand the whole concept of, oh my god, we have great load times right now. I'm a guy from the 80s. I've spent time with Commodore 64's MSX. If we want to talk about load times, I advise these guys to use those systems and then consider the load times we have now. I used to wait in the 80s for about 20 minutes before a game was loaded into the system so I could play. Ever since PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, 3 and now the 4, and the Xbox One for that matter, I've got no issue at all with load times. If somebody is nagging about the load times right now, then you're just impatient. It's just a couple of seconds you need to wait before a game starts, right? So I'm not considering load times to be a huge issue, and if they make a jump on that, fantastic. But the main reason why this is to some extent, a bullshit discussion is, first of all, the biggest consumer base for both Microsoft and Sony are people that are casual gamers. This is 95% of the entire base of gamers. They're casual gamers. They give a rat's ass about the amount of power or horsepower and how the architecture looks like and what kind of chips, whether it's AMD or any other type of chips they're using, and what kind of performance related advantages it had. They couldn't care less at all. Besides the fact that most of these people have, still a majority of the people have 1080p televisions or even monitors at home. So if they would jump to a new TV, it will be most likely a 4K TV, and they will be absolutely mesmerized with the sharpness of the image and the colors and the depth of the colors, and fantastic, it's fantastic. But the majority is still running 1080p TVs. I'm looking at an 8K TV. I'm a tech nerd because I am going to jump to an 8K TV in my new home. But for the majority of the people, they couldn't care any less about the whole performance issues and the performance differences between the PS5 and an Xbox One. What we do know is it's going to be a quantum leap forward with this generation we have now with the PS4 and the Xbox One. But the majority of the people couldn't care less. They want to play solid games that look exceptionally good on new systems and new hardware. We couldn't expect anything less than more performance, more speed, more better resolutions, better frame rates. Fantastic. But the majority of the people couldn't care less. If you are in a competitive game mode, yes, frames per second matter, but it's still a very small and tiny group of people that are really paying attention to that. Now, if somebody would tell me that there is a huge difference between the two and that will make someone decide over console A or B, then you've got two things to consider. First of all, third-party software is not going to run massively better on either a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox One. Let's take Call of Duty, let's take Battlefield 5 or Battlefield in general, right? If these guys develop a game, it needs to run solid on a PS5 or a PS4 or an Xbox One or the Xbox Scarlett. The differences between those systems are not going to be seen by the casual gamer at home. They're not going to be seen by the casual gamer at home. I think I will even have a hard time seeing differences in resolution between the new Xbox Scarlett and the PS5. It will both be fantastic systems that are highly optimized to run those third-party softwares. And those third parties need to optimize their game so they can run on PC or on the new Xbox and the PlayStation 5. So from that perspective, you can't optimize a game that it will run exceptionally good on the Xbox One, because that will have performance issues on the PlayStation 5, right? If you develop something for architecture A, it will not run as smooth on architecture B, right? You need to make modifications. So they will always search for a solid baseline which will have the benefit the most on both consoles and both systems. So in the third-party atmosphere, there is not going to be a huge difference. Then it's not. Right? So where is the difference? Where is the difference then where you can actually see the choice being made for console A or B? In general, for 95% of these people, it's not going to be the third-party software. It is going to be the first-party studios, the exclusives. A wise man told me that you can have all the horsepower in the world in terms of architecture, but if you do not have the intelligence to run those muscles, then your muscles are fruitless. They're not going to do anything. You can have the most powerful system in the world, but if you do not have unique selling points in terms of software that is unique to that system, there is no actual, there is no debate. There is no debate on what you're going to choose. And that is exactly the reason why PlayStation won this generation. Because we can argue back and forth that Xbox One X is the most powerful console out there. And it is, because the PlayStation 4 Pro doesn't run 4K natively. It does some upscaling, it's called checkerboarding, and we can dive into that all the way you want. But eventually, the Xbox One X is the most powerful console out there. I know for sure, because I'm owning it. Fine. But the reason why my Xbox One system is collecting more dust than my PlayStation, and my PlayStation is still a PlayStation 4 base model, right? And I'm playing more on my base model because of God of War, because of Uncharted, because of Horizon Zero Dawn, because of Spider-Man. And because of that, most of my online friends or virtual friends are on my PlayStation system. And that's why I also usually play the online moduses of Rainbow Six or Black Ops 4 or Battlefield or any other game that has a strong multiplayer focused environment. If I look at my Xbox One X, I got Gears of War, okay, fine. I've got Halo, fine. But that's about it, That's about it for the majority of the consumer base. So, again, guys, if you want to discuss about which one is the most powerful console out there, what's the benefit in that? What's the benefit in that? The differences are going to be very tiny. Very tiny. Microsoft and Sony are very intelligent companies. So they have very intelligent people running around that eventually can come up with all kinds of models saying my console is better than yours based on these architectural points. And then we go to Sony and said, no, if you look at it from this way, then my console is the bigger and the better and the more badass than yours. What's the purpose? Because both will have almost the same performance qualifications to run third-party software. If you look at Call of Duty, if you look at Battlefield, or take any other third-party developed, Red Dead Redemption, I don't give a shit, GTI, and Grand Theft Auto, they will all have the same performances on your screen. And for the majority of the consumer base, which is 95% of the people, that will look at the image, and if you would ask them, listen, this is a Battlefield 7 or Battlefield 6 for the new consoles, can you tell the difference between the Xbox and the PlayStation 5? They would say no, absolutely not. If you run a 4K TV, they will say, I don't know, it's either an Xbox or a PlayStation 5, right? Okay, maybe if you see some minor differences, fine, but the majority of the people will not see any huge differences. They will just go to the store and they will say, okay, I've got an Xbox, I've got a PlayStation, what should I choose? I've got a huge amount of exclusives on the PlayStation, and I've got an Xbox that is, well, have some exclusives, but that's about it, That's not it. You need to be really attached to Microsoft and an Xbox fanboy to go for the Xbox, which is fine. I'm an Xbox fanboy as well, but that's because I still had a great time on the Xbox 360. It was at the time the 360 came out before the PlayStation 3. It was the first high-definition console, and I, of course, bought the Xbox. The PlayStation 3 was bought immediately when it came out. And to me, with a slow start, PlayStation won also that era in terms of the exclusives they already introduced, like The Last of Us, Uncharted, and now they continue that in the PlayStation 4 and they just destroyed Xbox. On the other side, people will also decide which operating system is the best. If you look at the operating system of the Xbox One, you can objectively say that it's one of the worst ever designed, from my perspective. Okay, well, objectively speaking, come on guys, the tiles of the PlayStation operating system is way easier to operate than the way the whole operating system is set up. And that's also software unique selling point that is running on top of a hardware, right? What are the functions and features the operating system itself gives me? And to me, that's the first step the Xbox needs to address. The second step Xbox needs to address is the amount of exclusives they have and the amount of gameplay they're going to show us to persuade the people to go for an Xbox. Because across the board, everybody knows that PlayStation won this generation. The 95% of the general consumer base knows it. The 5% of the hardcore gamers, or maybe 10% of the hardcore gamers, they know it. So, come on guys, it's not about the performance. We all know that it's going to be massive in performance. We all know it's going to be very badass in performance. On a detailed level, we can go back and forth discussing on an architectural standpoint what is better or what is quicker or what has more IOPS or what has a better frame rate. They both will run 60 frames per second, right? So there is not a real discussion in there. The discussion should be, how is Xbox going to win the current console generation? Not with announcing what they can do with TV, not what they can do with media kinds. What are you going to do for gamers? And that is what the discussion needs to go about. So all the discussions about this console is better, this console is more powerful, I don't know. I've watched the videos, and every time I watch a video, one time is arguing Ps5, the other one is arguing Xbox because they have got leaks or they know someone. My initial thoughts with these videos are, what is it contributing to the discussion on how we can make Xbox successful? I want Xbox to succeed. I want these guys, as a great company that Microsoft is, how are they going to deliver what we need? Software. Software is eating the world, a wise man said. And that's a known fact. The reason why PlayStation ate the world with his system is because of all the software titles I just mentioned. Full stop. I'm willing to buy an Xbox Scarlett, and I am going to buy a PlayStation 5 because we already know, we can now already expect. I'm anticipating God of War 2, the follow-up to the reboot of the God of War series, to come out on the PlayStation 5. And that is going to be absolutely kick-ass. So, guys, I'm really keen on what you think about this topic. What is your take on all the discussions on architecture? Is that your decisive point? Let me know why, because I'm really keen in understanding. So let me know if your point of decision is based on architecture and performance, and if in the case why, what is the difference you see? Do you think it's useful to have this discussion, or are you driven about the amount of games as an exclusives that's going to provide to you guys? So guys, hit a like, hit that comment. I'm really keen on understanding what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and to push that notification button. And I will see you soon with more content and a new movement sessions with some straight up 2-hour techno is coming your way. This was Movement 6.